Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for your practice. Our class today is just going to move through a simple sequence to help stretch the parts of the body that many of us get quite tense and tight in. So looking a little bit at the backs of the legs, the hips, the lower back, and the shoulders. So this could make a nice part of your daily or weekly routine and just a way to take care of your body, release some tension and tightness. So I'm going to be using some props through the class. So 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. You can still practice. You might have some books. You might have a chair that is easily movable. Don't worry if you don't have anything. And I'll also be using a yoga belt. Now, if you don't have a yoga belt, you will need something. So either a tea towel, a scarf, something like this. If you need to pause just to get your props, feel free. And then we're going to start lying down on the back, moving through some leg stretches. So having your belt with you. And as you lie down on your back, have your left leg long, bend the right knee into the chest and loop your belt around your foot. And you're aiming for more of the top of the foot rather than the bottom of the foot. You can hold your belt or the tails of the belt in either hands. Now try not to worry so much about pulling the leg towards you. I want you to focus a little bit more on activating the leg. So that may mean that you have the leg much further away from the body. Don't worry about it. And just take a moment to flex both of your feet. So that means your toes are curling down towards you and you're pushing up and away through your heel. And maybe you can already start feeling a little bit of sensation or perhaps a lot of sensation through the back of the leg. As you keep your foot flexed, make sure that you're squeezing your quads. That's that big muscle at the front of the top of the leg. And just be mindful that you're not pulling, tensing those hands. Softness through the shoulders, through the jaw. And don't forget to breathe. Start to notice how you can use your breath to find a little bit of space in your body. Just helps you to stay more relaxed. Breathing in, breathing out. Now bring the belt into your right hand, and your left hand is pressing down onto your left hip bone. And so you're just keeping your glute connected to the ground. And then carefully take your right leg out towards the right side. Now, depending on your space, maybe your foot or your leg touches a chair or a wall or something like this. That is absolutely fine. Just keep your leg active. So you're keeping the foot flexed. You're squeezing through the muscles, activating the quad. And try not to focus on how far you can get with these shapes and just think about the sensations in the body. Don't push yourself to your absolute max. Breathing in, breathing out. And then bring the leg back to the center. And bring your belt into your left hand. Now I want you to use your right thumb in your right hip crease. This time you're keeping your hips level from the right side. So don't let your right glute lift. This is going to be a super small movement, but you should feel quite a lot. And just gently take the right leg over towards the left side. Keep the foot flexed. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. And try not to let the breath get too fierce. And if you start to watch your breath, you'll notice that your breath can give you a good idea of the sensations that you're feeling in your body. Breathing in, breathing out. And then bring the leg back to the center. And then just switching sides, you can just pick up your left foot, loop the foot through the belt, and then just let your right leg be long. Now you can walk your hands up towards the foot. You can keep your hands a little bit lower down. And again, don't force the leg to be super close to you. Flex the foot, push up and away through the heel. Squeezing through the quad. Steady breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now bringing your belt into your left hand. This time the right hand presses down onto your right hip bone, keeping your glute down, and take the left leg out towards the left side. Don't worry if you don't have as much space. Of course, you can wriggle and adjust. Keep the foot flexed. Keep the quads squeezing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now bring the leg back to the center. Bring the belt into the right hand. Use your left thumb in your left hip crease. Just pulling that hip down, keeping the hips level, and then take the left leg towards the right side. Such a small movement, and it can have so much feel. Stay with the breath. And I know it's so annoying when the yoga teacher says relax, but do try and relax a little bit here as much as you can. The shoulders, the jaw. We don't want to be any more tense or tight than we already are. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then bring the leg back to center. And then you can just release the leg. We'll use the belt a little later in the sequence, so just have it close by and just notice. Now, that's one of my favorite movements to give to beginners or those who are new to the practice, or maybe just those who have a lot of pain or tightness through the lower back and the hamstrings. And we can keep the movements really simple. And they can bring such a great benefit to how we feel in our body. That's going to change how we feel in our mind. Now gently hug the knees in. Give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. And then just rolling yourself over. Lifting yourself up. And we'll just come into a child's pose, wide child's pose. So big toes touch, knees come out wide. And you're sitting back towards your heels as much as possible as you reach the arms and the hands forward. If you can, forehead touches down towards the ground. That's not possible. You can bring a block or a prop underneath the forehead. If your head is lifted, just try and relax the head as much as you can. Feeling a stretch through the insides of the thighs. Finding some length through the sides of the body, the upper back, the upper arms. And if you can notice that your upper back is rounded, just think about pressing your sternum or your chest a little bit closer towards the ground. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, coming onto the hands and the knees. And exhale, just hold here. Just check wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Couple of rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, look up, lift your chest, lift your tailbone high. Exhale, rounding, lower back, middle back, upper back. Drop the head, tuck the chin. Inhale, look up, lift the chest, lift the tailbone high. Exhale, rounding, lower back, middle back, upper back. Inhale, look up, lift the chest, lift the tailbone high. Exhale, rounding, lower back, middle back, upper back. Inhale, bring the spine to neutral. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, and stretch back into a downward facing dog. And if you've never done a downward facing dog, think about making an upside down V shape. So you're pushing through your hands. You're lengthening up through your arms. Try not to hunch and round through the back. Pull your lower ribs in, pull your belly in, and lift your hips. So try and find more length through the torso. And as you keep your hips lifted, start to press your heel bones down towards the ground. You're not trying to touch the ground. You're just using that action to open up through the backs of the legs. You can absolutely keep your knees slightly bent, but just keep those quads squeezing. Breathing in, breathing out. Soften the knees. Slowly walk the feet forward. Stop when your toes are behind your wrists. Feet stay hip distance apart, feet parallel. Now, if you can't straighten your legs, don't feel bad about it. It's absolutely okay. Either you can bend your knees, otherwise you can use props. So if you have blocks, a block underneath each hand. If you have a chair, maybe you can bring your hands onto a table, but you're trying to push down strongly into your hands and your feet. I don't recommend just holding and reaching down towards the ground. It can put a lot of strain through the lower back, so try and connect your hands to something. Spread the toes, pushing down into the feet. Kneecaps lift, quads engage, and just relax that tension around the head, the neck, the shoulders. Shake it out, let it go. Breathing in, breathing out. And then soften the knees. Release your hands and very slowly, bone by bone, rolling all the way up to stand. Now this can feel really good through the whole back of the body, so try not to rush. And then at the top, you can just roll through the shoulders. Move the body in any way that feels good. And we're just going to finish with some simple shoulder stretches. So picking up your belt or your scarf or whatever you might be using, just stand with your feet about hip distance apart and take your hands wide on the belt. Now we're going to move with the breath. So as you inhale, reach the arms up. And then as you exhale, take the arms all the way behind you. Now, if you get stuck somewhere, rather than doing this, just take your hands wider. You're trying to aim for very smooth movements through your shoulders. So inhale, reach the arms high. And then exhale, bring the arms forward. Good. Now just keep going with your own breath. Try not to rush. And ideally, the elbows aren't bending. Don't be afraid to take your hands a little bit wider. It really doesn't matter. You're just trying to open up through the shoulders, through the front of the chest. And we do so much rounding in our day-to-day life. And so you might notice that you have a natural hunch through your upper back. And this can just be a really nice way of counterbalancing that movement. Now, if it does become a little bit too easeful, but again, you're not pushing, you're not forcing, bring the hands a little bit closer together. Almost got stuck. Good. Now, the next time you come to the top, I want you to hold here. Now bring your hands a little bit closer so your hands are about shoulder distance apart, and then get this feeling of pulling the hands apart or the belt apart. Take an inhale and exhale, side bend to the left as you shift your hips towards the right side. Now just hold here a minute. Push down into your feet, keep your legs strong, and try to get that feeling of pulling the belt apart. Really open up through the side body. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, side bend towards the right. Try not to let your hips twist. Strong through the legs. Good. One more each side. Inhale back to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right side. Inhale, come to the center. And then exhale, release the arms, release the belt. All right, thank you so much for taking the time to practice with me. I hope you are feeling a little bit more space in your body, a little bit less tense. If you have any questions, any comments, please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. See you soon.